sir, to extenuate the matter. Gentlemen may cry, peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war has actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring to our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it that gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God! I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death! A month later, British regulars, intent on disarming the colonists, marched on Concord to seize the armory of the Massachusetts militia. Resolved to live in liberty or die fighting to obtain it, we routed them at the North Bridge and chased them all the way back to Boston. Our war for independence had begun, and a year later, delegates to the Continental Congress did not hesitate to mutually pledge their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor in support of Mr. Jefferson's Declaration of Independence, which I consider the most eloquent cry for freedom ever penned by the hand of mortal man. Ponder, if you will, for a moment, the historical portent of just this brief passage. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Inspired by Mr. Jefferson's eloquence, we resolved to hazard everything upon that noble cause, and for 5 hellish years slogged through the bloody mire of war to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. When the Constitutional Convention announced the formation of a new government in 1787, the inestimable Dr. Franklin was asked precisely what they had given the American people. A republic, he responded, if you can keep it. If you can keep it. Well, here you are, and here I am, having been summoned by the dire nature of your circumstances and importuned to offer words of counsel and encouragement. I understand that a great many and thoughtful people will address you after me, and so I can only hope my own words will lend themselves to the power of their chorus for the cause of liberty. I can tell you this much. Be grateful that you still have the power of the ballot, but be certain you use it wisely, as it will be the only chance you may ever have of peacefully undoing the damage that has been inflicted on this republic. When the time comes to elect leaders and representatives, choose only those candidates whose integrity commends them to the office and whose fidelity to the constitutional rule of law ensures their fidelity to the people. They ought to possess an abundance of common sense and common sensibilities in spite of whatever education they may have received. Likewise, their moral character should be unimpeachable. Most of the damage to this republic has been wrought by highly educated men, bereft of morality, and I would sooner be governed by a poorly educated farmer whose moral fiber is incorruptible than a Harvard scholar whose moral compass has long since disintegrated to orange dust. Under no circumstances should they be encumbered by the dictates of petty parochial interests, and the sole desire of their hearts should reflect what is the best for both the people they represent and the nation itself. To this end, they must understand our Constitution and the nature of our government. We did not bequeath you a democracy governed by the whims of men and the rule of the mob, nor did we leave you an empire where a select few wield absolute power over the many. Rather, you inherited a representative republic governed by a constitution that precisely enumerates the powers of the central government, where the rule of law applies to everyone. And most importantly, they and you must embrace virtue, self-reliance, education, and unity, the four cardinal strengths that made America an exceptional nation and the greatest force for liberty and prosperity in human history. If we strive to practice the virtues of prudence, justice, temperance, and fortitude in a spirit of charity, humility, and patience, no travail or tumult can shake the foundation of our national house. If human passions are not restrained by religion and morality, no government would be powerful enough to contend with them. John Adams never once hesitated to point out that our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people, and therefore is wholly inadequate to the government of any other.